Welcome back to the podcast where we dive into the details of website policies. Today, it's the Marine Surety insurance policy privacy policy. It's all about how they collect and use information, like personal stuff such as your name and email, and non personal data from cookies and tracking technologies.
Yeah, that policy lays out two main info types, personal and non-personal. And it's interesting how they separate and manage them, right?
Absolutely. It really clarifies that personal information is provided voluntarily, like when you sign up for a newsletter or make a purchase,
Mm,
while the non-personal info is automatically gathered from your browsing activity, IP address, and device details.
that distinction is really key. It shows they're aware of both user input and background tracking. But what about how they use all that data?
Well, they outline several uses: operating the website, sending newsletters with consent, improving user experience, and even personalizing your site visit based on your browsing habits.
Yeah,
It's like they're trying to create a tailored experience.
right. But I do wonder, isn't there a potential risk there? Like if personalization becomes too invasive?
Good point. And that's where the policy mentions they share info only with trusted third party service providers who are contractually obligated to keep your data
Mm,
confidential. So even though they do the personalization, they seem to have checks in place.
true. But don't you think there might still be a concern about uh, over-reliance on those third parties? The policy um, says nothing about what happens if one of those partners fails to secure the data properly.
That's a fair challenge. Yeah, they do state that they take reasonable security measures, yet, as with any website, complete security cannot
Yeah.
be guaranteed. It's a trade off between effective operation and absolute protection.
And what about data retention? They mention keeping personal info only as long as necessary for its original purpose.
Exactly. They highlight that information might be retained longer if legally required, which is pretty standard. It's like holding on to your belongings until you say I'm done with them. They're sticking
Right.
to the legal framework.
I also noticed that the policy explains updates. So if there's any change, you get notified on the website. That sort of transparency is definitely a plus.
Yeah, and they even mention cookies, typical tracking stuff, to help customize and improve site experience across different
Mm,
media, showing that they adopt modern online practices.
all in all, it's a pretty comprehensive take on privacy, even if there's some room for debate on third party security issues.
Spot on. It's all about balancing user convenience with privacy and security. Thanks for diving into the details with me today.